In the Hoover and FDR years of the 1930s, Black Americans faced a deeper depression than their white countrymen. FDR's New Deal policies attempted to walk a middle ground, claiming to assist poverty in general while favoring poor white Americans, even though the majority of poor people in 1930s America were Black. FDR sought to gain and maintain support in the South, but this translated to appeasing Southern white voters and claiming that poverty was the primary problem to solve, not racial injustice. No anti-lynching legislation was passed under FDR, nor were there any steps taken to desegregate New Deal programs. President Roosevelt's creation of a Black cabinet, a group of Black advisors in FDR's government, was largely symbolic. Their role was to court the Black vote, a strategy that proved more successful than in presidencies past. In Down and Out in the Great Depression, Letters from the Forgotten Man, historian Robert S. McIlvaine writes, one of the most striking political shifts of the 1930s was the movement of a majority of Black Americans from the party of Lincoln to that of Roosevelt. Black voters were up to 49% in Chicago and 62% in Cleveland by 1936. But New Deal programs did not prevent local administrators of relief from mistreating Black Americans. Despite the disparity in FDR's policy and its local implementation, President Roosevelt was able to communicate the same sense of caring for down-and-out Black Americans as he did for his white constituents. Unfortunately, compassionate sentiments were less common among poor white Americans, many of whom directed their anger and despair away from systemic neglect and hoarders of wealth and towards communities of color. Letters written by Black Americans during the Depression show both the similarities and differences between their problems and those of their white countrymen. Like many whites, Black letter writers wanted no one to know that they had written, but their reason was not, in most cases, the shame that whites attached to seeking assistance. Instead, it was fear of reprisals by local whites against complaining Blacks. Blacks expected to be jailed, killed, beaten, or run out of their homes if their letters were discovered. Remarkably, in spite of the requests for confidentiality, many letters Blacks addressed to the Roosevelts were referred to local relief agencies, to precisely the people against whom the allegations of discrimination had been made. Welcome to History in Letters and Memoirs Great Depression series. This collection intends to be a living history that draws from two books, Down and Out in the Great Depression, Letters from the Forgotten Man by Robert S. McIlvaine, and Dear Mrs. Roosevelt, Letters from Children of the Great Depression by Robert Cohen. Each installment in this series features a selection of letters organized by topic, with a few excerpts from Cohen, McIlvaine, and other sources to provide additional context. Although these letters were written almost a century ago, their content feels unnervingly close. Because Cohen and McIlvaine have taken great care to faithfully transcribe each letter as it was written, every letter is displayed on screen as it is read. Images from the time period accompany the text. Today's letters are read by John K.
President and Mrs. Roosevelt, dear ones, congratulating you on your success in staying in the White House, for which I am well pleased. I want to write just briefly about my work in the campaign. First, let me say most everyone takes for granted colored voters are Republican, and we owe the party a debt. I work day and night proving to the USA voters that phrase is not true. I think this election will convince all, because the Negro of today are more educated. Of course, when there are more in one locality, it's easier for them to prove their ability to fill worthwhile positions. I wasn't working in this campaign to fill an office. I was working for the betterment of this community in which I live. And the men I worked so hard for, I feel are real men that will back me up and show a few of my race folk here a little consideration. I struggle here trying to educate my boy, 19 years, and girl, 17 years, and trying to keep this locality a haven for them, so to speak. I worked without pay so as to prove to the people here I wasn't working for a personal cause. I'm not on relief. My husband is a railroad chef. I work at odd jobs since where I live, my vocation isn't patronized very much. I would like to obtain an IA license, but I do not feel I can afford spending that much right now on the verge of winter. I hope that sometime during your future talks over the radio, you will mention what the value of the colored votes has been to you, if you think they are worth it. Trust that this letter will reach your hands. Happiness and success to both of you. Sincerely, Mrs. I.H. Burlington, Iowa, November 4th, 1936. Dear Sir, Mr. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of the United States of America, I'm writing you a few lines to let you know how I am getting along. I had to write you to tell you a few things about my condition. I am out of work and I ain't got nothing to do, and been begging field workers of the relief for work, and they won't give me anything to do. And they tell me that we can't give you any work and can't give you anything to get food with. They laugh and make fun of me about asking for something to eat. Dear Sir, Mr. President, I haven't even got a bed, no bedding of no kind of my own. An old lady is furnishing me some old bedding to use until the relief give me something. And they won't do nothing for me but a 12-pound bag of flour and 4 cans of beef and 4 pounds of prunes, and nothing to cook it with. And can you please, sir, give me something to do? It's people that have their own homes, and plenty around them gets it, and I can't get work and nothing. Please, sir, do something for me and my 3 children and my 70-year-old mother. We ain't got nothing to eat nor clothes. I went looking for work and I went back and begged for help. I owe about $3 for groceries and I owe $1.50 for rent, and nothing to do to get it, and the folks I owe are calling on me for it. I've taken the field workers in the home where I was living and let her investigate the house through and through to show her that I did need it, and they won't do anything for me. I'm taking my child up to the office with me to show them their size, and just because they didn't have any clothing to go to school with, they give me some dresses too small and too short. It's the way the order was written. She wears about a 14, and they give me a 12 for her, and then wouldn't do anything about it but laugh and wink their eyes from one to another. I carried them back to the emergency relief office. It was 4 dresses, which was size 12. Now, dear sir, Mr. President, will you tell them something to do for me, please, sir? Tell me what to do. I'm eating flour bread and drinking water, and no grease and nothing with the bread. One of the field workers, which was Mrs. Shickles, told me to go with this white lady at her place and work for her. Me and my old mother and I ain't even got bedding to sleep on. And you know, Mr. President, that white lady ain't gonna give me bed clothes and wearing clothes and my children clothes and shoes and pay me to work for her when they won't pay me to do their work. So please, sir, do something for me and my children. I've written for them to give her some clothes, and she had to stop school because she had no clothes and shoes. Anonymous. Augusta, Georgia, October 22nd, 1935. President Roosevelt of Washington, D.C. Dear sir, if anybody needs you, we poor people need you. Here at Marion, we are all suffering mighty bad. The drought come and cut off the corn, and white peoples took all the cotton, won't give us a day's work. In the Marion courthouse, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Noman and Mr. Mace ain't doing nothing for the poor Negroes at all. Won't give them no work and just robbing the government. And Mr. Cooser is robbing all the Negroes on the farm. He won't furnish the people until the last of April and won't furnish nothing but a little something to eat, and don't care how large a family is. He just give you 2 sacks of flour and 1 sack of meal and 8 pounds of lard for weeks. If you got 13 in the family, that's what he give. Don't even give a rag of clothing and shoes. And all his people that got large family have made from 11 to 17 bales of cotton and come out in debt. Over $300 in debt. You ought to send a man around his farm, just talk with his Negroes and see how they're suffering. And that money all the other white men has paid their Negroes, he didn't give his Negroes but $5 and made them sign on the second day of this month and told all that didn't sign to give him his house and move. Please send a man here on Aubrey Cruiser Place at Marion Ark, and don't send a letter back here. He will have every Negro on this place put in jail. Please come here at Marion Ark and help the poor Negroes and stop them people at the courthouse from robbing the government. Don't send this back here though. These white people will kill all the Negroes in Marion. Some of us have been here on this man place for 10 to 17 years and all over $300 in debt yet. Honorable Franklin D. Roosevelt, President of the U.S., Washington, D.C. Dear Mr. President, would you please direct the people in charge of the relief work in Georgia to issue the provisions and other supplies to our suffering colored people? I am sorry to worry you with this, Mr. President, but as hard as it is to believe, the relief officials here are using up most everything that you send for them for themselves and their friends. They give out the relief supplies here on Wednesday of this week and give us black folks, each one, nothing but a few cans of pickled meat. And to white folks, they give blankets, bolts of clothing, and things like that. I don't want to take much of your time, Mr. President, but I'll give you just one example of how the relief is working down here. The widow Nancy Hendricks owned land and is a stockholder in the bank in this town. She's been supplied with blankets, clothes, and gets the supply of canned goods regularly. This is only one case, but I could tell you many. Please help us, Mr. President, because we can't help ourselves, and we know you the president and a good Christian man. We praying for you. Yours truly. Can't sign my name, Mr. President. They'll beat me up and run me away from here. And this is my home. Anonymous. Reedsville, Georgia, October 19th, 1935. Dear sir, I'm writing you a few lines to let you know how they are treating we colored people on this relief. I went up to our home Vista and replied for something to do and something to eat. She told me that she has nothing for me at all. And they give all the work to white people and give us nothing. And sir, I want you to know how we are treated here. So please, help us if you can. Anonymous. Picayune, Mississippi, September 3rd, 1935. July 31st, 1934, West Point, Georgia, East 7th Street. Dear Mr. President, I don't know just how to write you, but I want to ask your help. I'm an old citizen of West Point. I'm about 75 or 76 years old and have labored hard all my days until the Depression came on and I had no job in 3 years. And I have a little home I bought when times was good, and I managed to pay my state and county tax. But they claim I owe about $15 city tax and gonna sell my little home for that. Will you please, sir, help me out? The government can have a lien on the little house till I get some way to pay back. Please, sir, do what you can for me. I'm too old to be turned out of doors. I tried to get a job on the CWA, but they wanted younger men. I've never gave the city any trouble, have always stood in fear of God, and been law-abiding. Been a hard worker all my days, and I'm able and can work. Now if I get anything to do, it's just about 1/4 of an acre and a 2-room house, and they need fixing, bad paint. No account much, but I toil so hard to get it, I don't want to lose it. So please, sir, help me. I am an old color man and seem like they just want to take my place. I ain't got nothing and can't get nothing. If ever a poor person need help, I do. Please, sir, let me hear from you at once. I haven't got but a few days to get the money up. They supposed to sell it sometime in August 1st. I don't know the exact day. Yours and obliged, your humble servant, D.A., Male, West Point, Georgia. Mr. Franklin D. Roosevelt, President of the United States of America. Dear President, I'm writing you a few words about the conditions of the poor old age colored people, how they are suffering. They on the county only get $2.50 per month and $1.50 out of that for house and rent. And some of them can't hardly get about. And when the government sends carloads of food, some get a little and some get none. And that's the way it is about the clothes. Some get some, and some get none. And if you do have any pension sent to the poor old age colored people, please send them checks. If you don't, they will never get a penny of it. This is from Anonymous. March 9th, 1936, Dry Branch, Georgia. Mr. Hopkins, dear sir, we are law-abiding citizens and legal voters of the United States. We would like to know, does the government insist on Jim Crow in the WPA projects? And colored are working at 51st and Southern Parkway, and the white to their self in Washington Park located at 57 and College Grove Avenue. We are all on the same project number 2262. The white are to their self and the colored are to their self. The men are kicking about this very much. Will you take care of this particular matter at once? Yours truly, Anonymous. Chicago, Illinois, March 9, 1936. Washington, D.C., Portsmouth, September 26, 1935, and Norfolk, Virginia. Mr. President, it's certainly a strange thing the way we colored people are treated here. This government money was sent down here for the people who are in need and the poor widows who are going from place to place, trying to get work and can't get nothing to do, and hungry. And what they do with the money, we can't tell sometimes. We make as much as a quarter a day in the field, and something will have to be done or else the people will perish and freeze this winter, because we can't make no money to pay the doctor bills for sickness and house rent. They usually just turn us outdoors, and we pitiful in this world of sorrow trying to do the best we can. Everything is so high we aren't able to hardly get a good meal and pay for it, and we need clothes and shoes, and they have at the city plenty of clothes and quilts, and the people certainly need those clothes and shoes. And they treat the colored people so bad that we can't help them crying sometimes when they go to them and ask for work, and they turn we colored peoples off in such a way. The object is, these people that did have work, like washing and ironing, these white people are doing their own work, and therefore that knocks the colored people out of work, and it isn't enough work in the field to depend on. And these people ain't gonna let us stay in their houses without paying. They promise to give groceries every week, but they fail to do that by some means. We're just in a place we don't know what to do, but I hope you will make it better for we poor colored people. Some of us colored people are so ragged, we're ashamed to get out among people like some folks, and it's getting cold, no wood. We don't get something to do so we can have some money, we'll freeze to death. In the winter, some of these people here that we rent houses from, if a person can't pay house rent, some of them will take the windows out and take the doors off. So please, do what you can for we people. Please. Buncombe County Jail, Asheville, North Carolina, February 1st, 1934. President Hoover, dear sir, will you please help poor me? I am a colored woman, 34 years old, have 4 children, 3 girls, 1 boy. I've worked awfully hard ever since I was 9 years old. I did not get to go to school but very little, but I have always held my job, never been turned off unless it was sickness. I was born in a little town by the name of Lawrence, South Carolina. I came to Asheville, North Carolina 10 years ago, and I've had very good luck for a while. My husband wasn't well, but he worked on just the same. He got hurt in the World War at the Camp Wheeler, Macon, Georgia. He and I have done all that we could to rear up our 4 children right. Well, he took real sick and died. Well, I nearly went crazy when the doctor told me that they couldn't save him and began to drink. I tried to drink it off and got in jail, for I drank everything anyone would give me. I was sick and worried nearly to death. I've tried and tried to get a job, but they are scarce, and the city relief takes care of my children at the present. Dear Mr. President, please give me a job, and I will do my best. All I want is a chance, and I will prove to the world that I can come up the hill instead of going down. I realize I was wrong to drink, and I'm sorry that I ever touched it, but I was cold and hungry, and many a day no one knows but God, and I had plenty of friends when my husband was living. We always helped each other as much as we could. Now my health is not so good. My heart is bad, and I haven't got any job and nowhere hardly to stay. I had to almost give my furniture away because I could not pay the house rent. I pray that you will give me something to do. I don't care what it is. I will sure thank God and you. Then I will give me some clothes and shoes and go to church every Sunday. I have made up my mind to stop drinking. And if God forgive me and you give me a job, I will never, ever touch it again. Please answer soon. I get out on the 18th of February and haven't got any money and no home, no job. So I pray you will tell poor me what to do. And may God touch your heart that you will understand everything and help me. I feel just like the whole world is against me sometimes. I'm not a bad woman, just worried crazy. Please give me a trial. Yours truly, Mrs. M.R., Buncombe County Jail, Asheville, North Carolina. Mr. Woodworth, dear sir, I want to know why it is we people in Huntsville are working and can't get any money or food. We white and colored people, we're on a starvation. Is there any way on earth you can help us? We're really in need. We hadn't got but one check in 3 months. We still have to face the winter, naked, hungry, and nothing to go up on, not even fuel to burn. We can't live and work off of nothing. We can't get any credit to get any food or anything. Families of 6 and 7 can't get food for their kids. The kids are hungry. I will close. From Huntsville, Alabama, November 12, 1935. Mr. Roosevelt, the President of the United States, I want to explain the condition of the poor farmer and the unemployed people. Mr. Roosevelt, I know that the government has probably enough money to feed all Negro and poor white, and today they are suffering for food and clothes. We know you have prepared money enough to give everyone a decent living, but today, the relief officers and others who have plenty to live on is getting this money and enslaving the poor people. Anonymous. Camp Hill, Alabama, April 22nd, 1935.
Creating a living history is not without expense. If you would like to support the channel, please consider making a donation. I've put a link in the description. You can also support by hitting the like button, subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss a video, and dropping a comment below on which letter catches your attention and why. Turn to the person next to you and tell them what caught your attention and why. Ask them for their perspective. Listen, respond, connect, continue. Thank you for keeping this history alive. Apart from assistance in creating a caption file, History in Letters and Memoir is an AI-free channel.
Mr. President and wife, I'm about to ask you a question that I hate to trouble you with, but I've tried hard to get by without any assistance, but I've nearly got to roll in. I just can't make my way, as I will explain. Now, Mr. President, I owe several different people that are compelling me to pay them. They are sending squires and collectors to me every week. I hate not to pay them, but I just cannot. I've got a job, but owing from 8 to 12 different ones, it make it difficult to pay. Besides the fuel, food, house rent, that has to be paid each week, and fuel each time it's ordered. And Mr. President, the food is a necessity. We have to have that to keep going on our jobs. Everything is very high in Tupelo, but I'm thankful to have a job. Making something, but not nearly enough to pay those bills I owe. I'm not writing just because I can write, but I've tried to borrow from the white people here, and they say they have not gotten any money. So I cannot get help from them as I used to. Now I'm asking you please to help me. I have a little child, 4 years old, and a mother, 62 years, and she's been sick for 15 to 18 years. I've got along all right till the middle of last year up until now. It's been hard for 7 to 8 months. Doctor bills, groceries, cold bill. I do not ask for money for foolish things, and I do not ask you to give it to me. I'm only asking a loan, and I will pay you back as you desire me to, by the week or by the month, only as you say. But Mr. President, keep this confidential as I will lose my job. You see, Mr. President, I can pay one person easier than lots of people. These bills have got ahead of me when I didn't have any work, and they're demanding their pay. Please, if it would not trouble you too much, help me. I will appreciate it more than anything. My bill totals $150. That's for the things that I have necessarily needed, not one bit of foolishness, for I try to put every cent to good use. Please help me in the name of the Lord, and I will pay you back. I haven't got anything for security but my honor, if you will trust me. Thank you. A colored friend down in Tupelo, Mississippi. P.S. Please answer direct to me. Tupelo, Mississippi, February 4th, 1935.
Many thanks to the historians and archivists whose painstaking work preserves our history. Many more thanks to the forgotten men, women, and children from the Depression era whose words reach through time, offering wisdom and warning. Special thanks to John K.